After using Moto E for a month, we had our ups and downs with it. There were points where we were really impressed with Moto E, and at times we were also a bit disappointed. So let's do a full review of Moto E. This is TechnoLinux and you're watching Motorola Moto E full review. On the hardware side, on paper, Moto E seems quite promising, and the specifications are also quite good. It sports a Snapdragon 200 processor, which is good if you consider the price, and also it has a Adreno 302 GPU. Talking about the hardware of Moto E, as I told you, the back is the soft touch back, which is removable. On the right side you have the volume rocker buttons and the power button, and on the left side there's nothing you can see. On the top of Moto E you would see a 3.5mm audio jack and an IR blaster, and on the bottom of Moto E there's a micro USB port, and on the front screen so you won't find any buttons. All the on-screen buttons are present on Moto E. The design of Moto E is somewhat similar to its original brothers Moto G and Moto X. You can see the soft touch back on the Moto E, and with a dip in the middle with the Motorola logo. The camera on the top centered on the back with a slight curve on the top. So the Moto E is somewhat similar in feel when you take it in hands, but don't forget that it's a 4.3-inch screen, so definitely it's smaller than the Moto G. Now the screen of Moto E is a 4.3-inch screen. It's not HD though, but it's having a good PPI pixel per inch density, which is 256, and I must say it really looks cool when you see it from the front. But the viewing angles of Moto E is really very bad. So while watching it from a great deep angles, we really felt that the screen could have been better. The speaker on the Moto E is located on the front in the bottom of the screen. The sound quality is good when you keep the sound level low, but as you increase the sound level, there's too much of scattering in the voice and too much of noise. So you can just see right now. So at this level the sound is good, but when you increase the sound, level, so if you're considering Moto E for a good quality sound, if you want to buy it for good quality sound, I would say please don't buy it, because it really is very bad in the sound quality that it produces. The speakers, I would say, is below average, and I wouldn't prefer to hear music aloud on this. But again, if you are if you want to hear music, you can always plug in a microphone and you can enjoy your music, because it's having a 3.5mm audio jack. That's pretty much it. It's having a below average speakers. The stock camera on the Moto E is very minimalistic in UI. When you swipe from the left, you get to see these toggles. This is the HDR mode, and this is the touch to focus. You can set the exposure and by touching on the screen. And this is panorama mode. You can turn it on or off from here. This is the location. This is the option to store the images on the SD card, and this is the ratio 16:9. You can turn it off or on, and again this is the capture sound. So very minimalistic UI. There are two options, image mode and a video mode, and when you just touch on the screen you can just capture the image, and when you swipe to the right you can see the image on your screen. Unfortunately on Moto E we were not able to install the Google camera. It isn't available on Play Store because of its hardware requirements. The camera quality on Moto E is very bad. The images are not good, and as you know, there's no flash on Moto E, so even in low light the images are very bad. On the camera side, Motorola seems to have brought in a very low-end camera for Moto E. While using the apps and the games on Moto E, I wasn't having any much problems while browsing or even using some good quality apps, and I was able to play games like Riptide GP and Asphalt 8 quite smoothly. There wasn't any problem in that. but at times you do have to understand that due to its price constraint it will lag and there will be some problems, but most of the time, around 90% of the time, the Motorola Moto E will live up to your expectations. As the Moto E sports the slowest Snapdragon 200 processor in the Snapdragon family, the performance of Moto E would not be advisable to be compared with those having Snapdragon 400 and 800 and 600 processors. But the Moto E showed a very good benchmark score when we compared it to Moto G. Although it didn't win with Moto G, but again the comparison was good and Moto E was able to sustain and show up good performance in the benchmark test. You can look at our video which we performed between the Moto E and the Moto G. The battery of Moto E is really good. It packs a good battery which is not removable, but again with low end usage I was able to use the Moto E for around 2 days, and now you can see usage with some music and browsing in the Play Store and having a Google Plus usage for some time, and I was able to keep the phone alive for 16 hours and 56 minutes, and this is really good if you are having a high-end usage, if you are playing HD games and if you are really using it. I would say you will be able to keep on the device for the whole day, and at the end of the day you will be having around 20 to 30% of the juice left inside it. So in the end I would say the Motorola Moto E really lives up to the expectation what you have when you buy a $130 device. You won't be having such great hardware at this price from other manufacturers, and manufacturers have been making low-end devices for a long time now, and they have been giving devices with Android, but you won't be having such a device where you have the Snapdragon processor and a good resolution screen along with the ability to play good apps and games without any problems. Even though Motorola seems to have done a great compromise with the camera and the sound quality, Moto E is really a great device if you are new to Android and you want to use it and you want to explore it. Smartphone is really the right choice, because other smartphones available on the market cannot defeat this one in this price range. Motorola Moto E is really a great device and I really liked it. I hope you liked this video, and if you really did, please give us a thumbs up and also share this video with your friends on Facebook, Twitter and Google+, and subscribe to our channel Techno Linux, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Yeah.